For 1,000 years, the galaxy had known only peace. No wars, no battles, no bloodshed. The Council of Species kept order. Every race agreed to follow the rules. Weapons were banned. Armies were disbanded. Even the stories of war began to fade. But peace can make people forget what danger really looks like. Far away, on the edge of the Orion sector, a small listening post floated in the dark. It had not heard anything dangerous in centuries. It was run by one single alien technician, bored and half asleep. That night, everything changed. A strange signal appeared. It was strong, too strong. Not a call for help, not a trade request. No words, just pulses of energy, coded in a rhythm no one had heard in 1,000 years, like a heartbeat. But angry. The technician stared at the screen. The signal came from outside mapped space. A dark zone. A dead zone. He sent a report. A few hours later, more signals followed. Faster, louder, hotter, like something was waking up. The council received the report and met in silence. All the leaders of the great alien races were there. Tall ones with crystal skin, thin ones with light flowing through their arms, giant ones that spoke through vibration, all different, all scared. They checked the archives, and they found something. The signal had a match, a very old match. From the age before peace, the file was locked, forgotten, almost deleted, but still there. The name was simple. Terran signal, Earth origin, do not respond. No one had spoken. The word Terran in generations Earth humans, a race so violent the Council had erased them from history. A race that once fought endless wars, then vanished. Some said Earth was destroyed in the last battle. Some said the humans destroyed themselves. Others said they had left the galaxy. No one knew for sure. Until now. The Council argued. One species wanted to respond. One wanted to send a scout. One said to prepare weapons, even though weapons were banned. But the decision was made. Do nothing. Monitor the signal. Say nothing to the public. They believed silence would protect them. They were wrong. In a cold system far from the Council's core worlds, an old satellite turned. It had been dark for many years. Now it blinked. A red light flashed. Power flowed through frozen wires. A voice whispered through ancient speakers. Signal received. Human protocols active. Waking fleet. In the blackness of space near a ruined planet with no name, massive shapes moved. They were not ships like the galaxy had seen before. They were not sleek or pretty. They were not fast. They were built to survive, to fight, to destroy. They were human warships, and they were waking up. Back on the listening post, the technician watched with wide eyes. The signal changed. It now had a message. He translated the pulses. Only 4 words. We are still here. His hands shook. He sent another report. It never arrived. The post went silent. The galaxy stayed quiet for now, but across many systems, old machines blinked to life. Hidden bunkers opened. Deep in old data vaults, warnings flashed across dead screens. The humans had never been gone. They had been watching, waiting, preparing, and now they were awake. For 3 days, the Council said nothing. 12 systems had picked up the strange signal. 6 listening posts had gone offline. Ships sent to investigate disappeared without a trace. Still, the Council told the public everything was fine, but deep down they were afraid. They remembered the word buried in the signal's code. Terran. The oldest Council members knew the name. They had read forbidden records of fire raining from space, of human ships that did not stop, of wars that ended planets. They had erased Earth for a reason, but Earth never forgot them. In a cold, forgotten corner of the galaxy, something massive stirred. Beneath a broken moon, hidden under layers of stone and metal, a command center came to life. Inside it, there were no people, only machines. But these machines had one purpose: defense. They were not built to follow orders. They were built to follow programming. And the program had just changed to Awaken human systems. Rows of lights turned on, doors unlocked, satellites activated. 1. Old ship, black as the void, lit its engines. It had no name painted on its hull, no signal. No call sign. It moved silently across space, and no one saw it coming. Meanwhile, in Council space, tensions grew. The Council debated endlessly. Should we prepare weapons? We banned them. Should we warn the colonies? We'll cause panic, every voice argued. Every word was fear. But Earth? Earth didn't argue. Earth acted. Somewhere, hidden between asteroid fields, a human command station broadcast one final encrypted message. Protocol Prime. Begin return. The message bounced through ancient satellites, deep void relays and black boxes locked in forgotten ships. And across the galaxy, things began to move. In the Caro system, a small scout ship scanned an old planet once believed dead. It found something strange, a deep crater that wasn't natural. A signal beacon was hidden inside. The pilot leaned in closer. The beacon activated. Too late. A massive gun, buried for centuries, fired once. The ship vanished in a bright flash. No debris, no escape, just silence. Back at Council High Command, alarm bells rang. Unknown weapon discharge detected. Source unregistered system. Status lethal. Again, the Council met in emergency session. The same voice echoed, "It must be Earth, but Earth is gone." A quiet voice answered, "What if Earth never left?" No one spoke after that. On the edge of explored space, something terrifying happened. An alien warlord, greedy and foolish, decided to act. He sent 12 attack ships to Earth's last known location. He wanted glory. He never returned. Only one thing came back, a black box. It played one recording. 12 ships entered the system, 12 ships vanished, and then a voice, cold and clear, spoke. You were warned. Now systems near Earth zone started evacuating. Cargo lanes shut down. Trade routes were blocked, but the signal from Earth only grew stronger. No voice, no face, only a sound. A deep, growing hum, like engines waking from long sleep, the kind of engines not seen in 1,000 years, the kind that made stars shake. In the old parts of the galaxy, old species whispered to each other. The Terrans have returned. One elder, long believed mad, smiled when he heard. I told you, he whispered. They never left. They were just waiting for someone stupid enough to knock. Meanwhile, the Council built walls of silence. They shut down networks, blocked communications, tried to erase the growing fear. But fear is not so easy to erase. And Earth was just getting started. The stars had long stopped speaking of Earth. It was a dead name, a myth told to scare children, a footnote in ancient history lessons. But myths often hold truth, and some truths are too dangerous to forget. In a quiet sector far from the Council's core worlds, a science vessel drifted toward the Sol system, where Earth was said to have once existed. The crew believed Earth was ruins, nothing more than dust and bones. They were wrong. The ship sent a probe. The probe moved past dead satellites, past the asteroid belt, and vanished. No explosion, no signal, just gone. Seconds later, a strange message appeared on their screens, burned into their systems like a brand. No entry. Then the lights flickered. Then the ship shut down. It drifted in silence for hours. When power returned, one crew member was missing. The rest refused to speak about what they saw on the cameras. The ship turned around. Fast. Back in Council space, the story spread like wildfire. The crew didn't speak to officials, but someone leaked the logs. They showed old Earth orbit not as dust, but full of dark, silent shapes. Massive, unmoving. Ships. Hundreds of them. No lights. No signals. But very much alive. The Council called it fake. They blamed pirates. They silenced the crew. But the galaxy had seen enough. The myth of Earth wasn't dead anymore. It was breathing. Across border worlds, strange things happened. A merchant ship was pulled from hyperspace, not by pirates but by something unseen, all its systems locked. It couldn't move, couldn't fire, couldn't even scream for help. Then a single drone boarded the ship. Black, silent. It moved room to room, scanned every face. Ignored the crew. Then it found the cargo. Old weapons, banned under the Council Peace Code. The drone paused, and then the weapons melted, gone, just like that, no message, just judgment. The merchant captain wept when she returned. "They're not ghosts," she said. "They're watching." She was never seen again. Some say she joined them, some say they made her disappear. Meanwhile, deep in a hidden council chamber, one old leader stared at a glowing screen. On it was a report buried under encryption, marked Class 0, Terran. Watch list. He read it in silence. Humans were not just fighters. They were builders, planners. They feared nothing but peace, because peace to them meant sleep, and sleep meant danger. The file ended with one final warning. Do not wake Earth. It never forgot how to burn. He closed the file, then locked the chamber. But he was too late. At the edge of the Kandar system, an explorer fleet detected something odd. An old Terran beacon, buried in the rings of a shattered moon. It pulsed once, then stopped. They tried to scan it. It melted their sensors. They tried to tow it. Their engines froze. They turned back. But as they did, the stars behind them blinked. Not light. Ships, big ones, silent ones, moving like shadows, watching, but not attacking. Not yet. All across the stars, panic spread. No one dared say it loud, but every race felt it. Something old had awakened, and it wasn't coming back to talk. It was waiting, just like it always had. Tutter, Earth itself, if that was still its name. Lights flickered beneath the surface. Oceans boiled from below. Mountains hummed with hidden power. Above the clouds, something moved. A fleet, sleeping, orbiting, cloaked from the galaxy and in its heart. A ship, not the biggest, not the deadliest, but the first. The one that carried the signal. The one they called the reminder. Because that's what it was. A warning. Not to Earth, but to everyone else. Do not come here. But someone already had, and now the clock was ticking. They thought Earth wouldn't respond. They thought the Terrans were slow, sleeping, unaware. So they struck first, and that was their final mistake. The Varn Dominion, an arrogant and rising alien power, decided to act where the Council hesitated. They called the humans a ghost story. They called the signal a trick. They sent a fleet, 12 ships, fast, armed, ready to deal with the human myth. The Varn didn't announce war. They didn't even send a message. They just entered the old Sol system, engines burning blue across black space. Their target, a cold, ruined satellite in orbit near a dead moon. It looked abandoned. No heat, no signal. They fired one torpedo. The explosion lit the darkness. The satellite was gone. They laughed. And then, space began to shift. At first it was just shadows, then static, then silence. Their sensors died. No radar, no eyes, no warnings, just silence. Then came the sound, low, growing, mechanical, not natural, not alien, human. One of the Varn commanders screamed, "We're being scanned!" Another shouted, "Multiple contacts, but they're not moving." Too late. They were already surrounded, not by dozens, but by hundreds of ships, old ships, covered in dark armor, weapons offline, or so they thought. Then, the lead Varn ship exploded. No weapon trail, just instant perfect destruction. A cut so clean the air hadn't even burned yet. Panic followed. Fall back. Reverse course. Emergency warp. One by one, the Varn ships tried to flee. One by one, they vanished. Not a war, not a fight. Just Correction. Back on Council Worlds, no one believed the report at first. 12 advanced ships, gone in marred into less than 3 minutes. A surveillance drone picked up the wreckage, small debris, melted armor, and something stranger. A single beacon, still floating. It pulsed red every 10 seconds. Its message was chilling. You attacked first. We answered softly. Do not return. The Council panicked, but not Earth. Earth didn't speak. Earth didn't move. Earth simply waited. Across the stars, fear became fact. Terran systems were off limits now. Merchants rerouted, explorers pulled back, entire sectors marked silent zone. But not everyone learned. The Dran Syndicate, a powerful smuggler empire, decided to profit from the chaos. They sent cloaked scouts into the Terran perimeter. They thought if they were quiet enough, they could steal something. Technology, weapons, data. What they found broke them. The scouts returned half alive. Their ship was full of burns. Not heat burns, memory burns. Their minds had seen something they couldn't explain. Their eyes never stopped crying. They spoke one word, over and over. Eyes. The Council locked them away, but the whisper spread. The humans are watching, always. At the heart of all this, Earth stayed quiet. No news, no broadcast, no attack. But satellites around it hummed like hives. In the shadows of long-dead stations, lights blinked, green. Missiles sat armed but waiting, not pointed at stars, pointed inward, at Earth itself. A final fail-safe. If Earth fell, nothing would be left, because Terrans had learned one truth. If you want peace, be ready to burn everything to protect it. One Council scientist leaked an ancient file. It was once labeled fiction, but now, no one laughed. The file read, Terrans believe in overkill. They do not bluff. They do not warn. And when they strike, you will not even know what killed you. On a moon near the Terran border, something new appeared. A single drone. Not fast, not loud. It hovered above the ground and spoke one sentence, in every known language. We remember who attacked. Next time, we don't whisper. The galaxy held its breath. Earth said no more. But the stars had already changed. Fear now had a name again. And that name was human. The galaxy was shaking, but Earth stayed silent. No broadcast, no message, no answer to the Council, no response to the Varn's lost fleet, only silence and motion. And that silence was louder than any war. Across the stars, panic bloomed, like fire. Trade networks collapsed. Border stations were abandoned. Civilian ships refused to fly near Old Terran space. Even black market smugglers refused to take the risk. Why? Because something was moving in the dark. Unseen ships, untrackable drones. Stations left untouched but fully scanned. Whole fleets reported shadows near them. Nothing attacked, nothing spoke. But they all felt it. The cold eyes, watching, measuring, waiting. The key. Council called an emergency session. Over 300 species attended. Some begged for action. Some screamed in fear. One broke down crying. But no plan could stop the truth now. Every time they tried to contact Earth, nothing came back. No signal. No threat. Not even a hum, just space, filled with the feeling that something was thinking. Something very human. Meanwhile, strange events started to happen across ancient battlefields. Old war zones, long forgotten, began to glow with heat. Satellites blinked on, dusty bunkers powered. Up and in one shattered star system, a deep space sensor picked up an impossible sight. 2 Earth-made ships fighting. But they weren't fighting each other. They were training. Testing weapons no one had seen before. Weapons that didn't fire beams or missiles. Weapons that folded light, bent time, and made space itself shiver. They didn't fight like modern fleets. They didn't even fight like warriors. They moved like predators. Old, slow, sure. One observer wrote, "They are not aggressive. They are not hunting us. They are waiting for us to give them a reason." On colony worlds near Terran space, people began to vanish. Not civilians, not innocents, only spies, only saboteurs, only those trying to sneak into the dead zones. No remains, no signals, just gone. The message was clear, even without words. You don't touch Earth, you don't even try. In one rare moment, the Council tried to send a peace message. A golden drone filled with gifts, speeches, and offers of diplomacy was launched toward Earth. It passed the border. It reached halfway to Sol. Then it stopped. On its own. Its lights dimmed. Its systems shut down. Then it turned around. No engine. No fuel. Just movement. Like something pushed it back. It floated across space in reverse until it reached Council space. When they retrieved it, the gold shell was untouched. Except for one change. Burned into the side was a short message. "We remember. We are not interested." News of the drone spread like wildfire. The meaning was clear. Earth was not looking for war, but they were ready for it. And they had not forgotten what the galaxy had done. 1,000 years ago, when peace was forced on all species, humans had not surrendered. They had vanished. Now everyone knew why. They weren't avoiding war. They were preparing for the next one. On a forgotten moon station, a council historian uncovered an ancient file. Inside, he found the writings of an old human general, written right before the humans disappeared. The message read, "One day, peace will break. And when it does, we will not rise with fear. We will rise with fire, and the galaxy will remember why it feared us." Now, systems began to lock themselves down. Races that had mocked Earth centuries ago built shields over their planets. Old enemies of humans vanished into hiding. And still, Earth did not speak. No words, no leaders, no threat. Just ships, giant, black, and silent, drifting on the edge of known space. But there was one terrifying fact. Every sensor scan showed the same thing. Their weapons were still offline. Meaning what? Meaning, all this fear, all this silence, all this panic had been caused without them even trying. And when Earth finally did speak, what would be left of the galaxy to hear it? They thought numbers would win. They thought size meant safety. They were wrong. The Council, under pressure from panicked citizens and angry governments, formed the largest combined fleet in history. 12,000 warships, over 50 alien species. Some of the galaxy's strongest engines, the brightest shields, the smartest weapons, all gathered in one place. The mission was simple. Approach Earth. Demand surrender. End the fear. They called it Operation Peacehammer. But the humans had already given their answer. They just hadn't used words. The fleet jumped into the edge of Sol system. At first it was quiet, too quiet. No resistance, no response, just drifting, wrecks, dead stations, and faint energy pulses in the dark. Some commanders laughed. "It's abandoned," one said. "It was all just a bluff," said another. But then something blinked in the dark. Just one flash. Far, far away, a small red light, then another, and another. Hundreds, then thousands. The commanders zoomed in. Their laughter stopped. The blinking wasn't random. It was counting down. Before they could react, space itself twisted. The stars bent, and the Terran fleet arrived. They didn't appear with sound or flash. They simply were there. Black hulls, no names, no emblems, no visible weapons. They just hovered, silent and massive. Human ships didn't fly, in formation. They drifted like predators around prey. Slow, patient, deadly. The Council fleet formed lines. Thousands of weapons powered up. Warnings were sent. Demands were screamed. Still, the Terran ships did not respond. Then, one message came across, all channels. 5 words. You should not have come. And then, the stars turned red. No missiles were fired, no beams of light, no shock waves. Ships just started vanishing, one by one. Council ships disappeared mid-turn. Some cracked in half, some melted without heat. One ship simply crumbled, like its atoms lost interest in holding shape. Panic hit fast, shields failing, engines offline. Something's inside our systems. But there were no intrusions, no hacks. The human ships never touched them. A new fear grew. The Terran ships weren't using weapons. They were using control, like puppeteers. They didn't destroy the fleet. They unmade it. One massive council ship. The flagship Peacewind tried to ram a Terran vessel. It exploded halfway through the charge before ever making contact. No enemy fire, no sound, just vanished. Out of 12,000 ships, only one survived. A small corvette. It wasn't spared. It was sent back. When it reached council space, it carried no weapons, no crew, no logs, just one recording on loop. A voice. Old human. Tired. Powerful. We did not start this, but we will end it. Do not come back. The council tried to silence the message, but it spread too fast. Citizens across the galaxy heard it, and they believed it, because the broken armada, the strongest force ever built, was now dust in the Terran fleet. Not a scratch, not even a dent. Reports say the humans never activated full weapons. Their ships never reached combat speeds. They were holding back. This wasn't war. It was a warning. On the ruined moons where the battle took place, silent drones now floated. They broadcast one line to any ship that entered. This space is sealed. The dead stay here. Leave, or join them. No one entered again. Not even scavengers. In council chambers, chaos reigned. Systems tried to leave the council. Some called for surrender. Some begged for mercy. Others planned revenge. But deep down, every leader knew Earth had let them live. This time. Now the galaxy whispered a new name. Not humans, not Terrans, not Earth. They called them the sleepers that burn. Because Earth had waited in silence, waited in shadows, waited for this. And now the question hung in space like poison. What happens when they stop warning and start conquering? The galaxy used to laugh at Earth, used to mock their wars, their fire, their fear, but not anymore. Now no one says their name, not out loud, not even in the dark. After the broken armada vanished, the galaxy froze. No trade, no missions, no ships crossed near Terran space because everyone remembered 12,000 warships gone without a fight. And the humans? They didn't chase, they didn't boast, they just vanished again. But the silence felt worse than war. 1 week after the battle, strange things began. A small moon disappeared, not destroyed, not exploded, gone, like it never existed. On that moon was a secret council base. They had been building weapons, planning another strike. Now, even their star charts didn't remember the moon. Not even memory was safe from human reach. Fear took root. Not just fear of death, fear of what humans had become. On a council world, a high leader woke to find a box on their table. No doors had opened. No security was breached. Inside the box was a rock, a simple black stone, but tests showed it was from Earth. Not just any rock, one from a battlefield 1,000 years ago, still stained with blood, still warm, still pulsing with power. No message, just the truth. We can reach you anytime, anywhere. In a quiet system near the Terran border, farmers found something buried beneath their crops. An old Terran drone. Not active, not dangerous, but watching. It had been there for centuries, sleeping, recording. Now it blinked once and shut down. Its purpose, complete. They didn't know what it saw. But the people packed their things and left the planet that day. The galaxy wasn't ruled by ships anymore, not fleets, not weapons, but fear. Because Earth didn't destroy planets, they didn't conquer empires, they simply appeared and decided who could stay. In hidden places, some tried to understand them. They studied old human tech, old files, old war logs. One researcher cried for days after reading a human journal. We prayed for peace, we begged for it, but they never let us have it. So we prepared for the day. They came back, and when they did, we promised to never be weak again. Another file showed Earth's last council vote before vanishing centuries ago. Do we become monsters to survive monsters? The answer, yes. Now even the word Earth had power. Children were told not to say it. Stars were renamed. Maps were redrawn. But it was useless, because humans were not coming. They were already here. Every species had a story now. A shadow near, their ship, a drone in their fields, a strange mark on their walls. No violence, no demands, just signs, reminders, warnings. We see you. We remember. We are not done. Then, without warning, one message went across every system. Simple, clear, no voice, just text, in every language ever recorded. You started peace without us. Now we decide when it ends. And the message was signed by one name, Earth Across. The stars, some cheered, some cried, but all understood. Humans were never gone. They had waited, prepared, watched. And now, the galaxy would never be ready for what came next.